Thank you for joining us today at Homestead for Life. Today we are going to talk about how to safely and carefully separate two plants that have been growing in the same pot. So all those roots are intertwined and we are going to separate them as safely and carefully as possible in the best way that I've learned so far. So we lucked out this weekend, and as we were running around we happened upon a garage sale that happened to be hosted by someone with a nursery license who grows mango and papaya trees, and I got this beautiful mango tree for 10 bucks and it has a buddy in the pot with it. So really excited about that. So we are going to separate these and move them into two pots so they can grow better and also not starve and kill the smaller one out, because the roots are only going to get more and more and more entwined. So we want to separate them while we can. So the first thing we are going to do is unpot this plant, and I'm going to kind of shake any of the loose dirt into my other pot, because the guy I bought the tree from was an amazing source of knowledge, but also shared with me the best ways to fertilize a mango tree. And I was able to see his beautiful tree in the background, at least one of them, and whatever he's doing works. So I'm gonna take his advice. I just don't have the supplies yet, so we're gonna end up repotting these in the near future anyway. But what he shared with me was to fertilize them with composted cow manure and seaweed, which I don't have, but I'm going to have to get. So in the meantime, that's most likely already mixed in the soil some, so I'm gonna try and share some of that, save some of that for next time. So I'm just gonna gently shake off the dirt that I can. And then the rest we are gonna lose, because what we're gonna do is basically wash away all the dirt so we can see the roots, and then we're just kind of gently gonna vibrate and wiggle those two trees, their roots apart, and do as little damage as possible. So here we go. Okay, so we've got it mostly hosed off, so now we're just gonna carefully kind of untangle it as best we can. Some of the roots will end up ripping, and there's no avoiding all of that, but we want to make sure that the primary, the big fat roots, and as much of the little skinny ones as we can, we want to keep intact. So just gonna wiggle it, shake it, vibrate it loose. We're not yanking, we're not ripping. Right? And we have our two mango trees, and we are going to put these in our new pots. Alright, so I've emptied some of the dirt that I'd filled up in here out so that we can pour some of this dirt on top, including the little bit that we were able to salvage from the original pot. And you want to make sure the dirt comes at least to where it previously had dirt to. So essentially you don't want to uncover any roots, right? So any roots and bark that were covered before, you want to keep covered. Any bark that was not covered before, you want to keep uncovered, okay? You don't want to essentially like suffocate the tree by building the dirt up too high. It's not a tomato plant. This one, need to empty a little bit more dirt out of this guy. This one was the main one with the bigger root system. So, both going into bigger pots, and now being in bigger pots individually, they should be much happier trees now. The last step is to water them in. Now, typically, you would dampen your soil before you add your plants, because the last thing you want is for dry dry compost, dry soil to suck the moisture out of your roots. So you want it all mixed in and moist beforehand. You may not be able to tell here, but it rained all day. And this compost was out in the dirt, or out, uncovered. So it has been rained on and moistened all day. So I am comfortable not pre-moistening this batch. But that's it. That is how you separate two trees or two plants that have grown closely together, how you get their roots apart so that they can thrive individually. Thanks for joining us at Homestead for Life.